Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation and the opportunity to share with you certain ideas about Mexico and the future of our country and the relationship with the United States, Canada, and the countries of the hemisphere. Well, for the first time in modern times, Mexico is being governed by the left through an electoral process. And you can think that our program is about expand or accelerate debt, increase taxes, or make a atmosphere hostility about businesses or private sector, or even a non-North American vision about the future. Several, expected that those were the main picture of the new government. But it's not the case. What are the main goals of the government in Mexico? The first one is about corruption. You can ask, well, since when corruption as a main goal for a government is a left patrimony or a leftist idea? Well, let me explain why it's so important in Mexico. Because in Mexico, corruption is intimately linked to the privilege system. All the system is designed by privilege. We have free elections several years ago, 2000, 2012, or other years. We have different parties govern the country, but we have the same privilege system, which is really interesting, because we expected in Mexico that when we have free elections and changes between parties, the corruption would be reduced in the first years. But that didn't happen. So corruption is about privilege, inequality, and almost the main reason that explains why in Mexico we don't have the rule of law that we want. That is the first step in order to have foster the economy, accelerate the innovation in the country, and make a more competitive country. So corruption is the first goal for this government because of those reasons. And in Mexico, it's not just another goal. It's the most important one. Maybe this goal explains the past election, why the people choose López Obrador instead of other parties. The second goal is about poverty. Let me say another way, in other words. It's about unsatisfaction about poverty and the idea that it's going to take maybe 50 or 60 years, other generation, in order to have the opportunity to be in the middle class in our country. 52 million people in poverty. And if you maintain the same trends in the country, they are going to spend more than 4 years in order to have the opportunity to be as a part of the middle class of the country. So this is the other main goal of our country, is about reduce poverty as fast as we can, to open new hope for the people, new ways to be in the middle class of Mexico. In the south of Mexico, we have the poorest, and we have 62 indigenous communities, larger ones. waiting since several years ago some opportunity. For instance, they don't have internet. Their health system is the worst in the country. The educational system is not working. And everyone, almost the most important part of the elites of the country used to think that, well, they can wait for a new situation in the next maybe 30 or 40 years. Nothing happens about that. That used to be the argument when Mexico signed the NAFTA agreement in the 90s. Never happens. So we need to open another process in Mexico in order to give them an opportunity. Health system, educational system, access to internet, and a lot of initiatives that we are already taking in the country. The third goal is about how can we foster the economic growth. We need to add value to our economy. We need innovation. We need to solve old problems. We need to use new tools also, new ideas, in order to increase our capacity to add value to our economy. Is that possible? Sure. But we need to do more than just wait that the market solve the issues. It's not about if the state should find the solutions or the market, the old debate. It's more about what if we have a common vision about the future, invest more money together, design a future for our country with a common vision about innovation and technology, energy, and other issues. We have an idea that Mexico can grow faster than 2%, as it did in the past 20 years. The fourth goal is about safety. So we are not going to have safety in our country if we don't have solved the previous three issues: corruption, access to changes in our society, and faster economic growth. But anyway, we started to have right now a new design about safety in the country, to organize a national guard with human rights strong approach, to reorganize all the institutions in Mexico, to have a general attorney with independence from the government, from the executive branch. We expect that we can do that, and we should do that, and to show that it's more effective than the old system. And finally, those are the four ones. And those four means change the vision of our country, which has prevailed in Mexico for the past 4 decades. We wait a long time to have an opportunity to change this vision that I mentioned that prevailed in Mexico during almost 4 years. That's the meaning of that leftist or change government in Mexico. Someone says, well, those are populist ideas. Well, whatever that means. Populism is like an explanation when you don't understand exactly what is going on. The program of the government is about those 4 goals right now. What's our approach about the North American region? Well, we see with optimism the future of the region. We have one of the most competitive regions of the world. We are going to have several fields for competitiveness in front of Asia and other countries and other regions. Energy is one of them. But there are several. So we maintain an optimistic point of view about the future. We want to participate. We want to join the North American point of view. And I know that can be very, very difficult sometimes. You cannot design something like that just thinking the next election. So we need to really think in the next 34 years. And we are in this idea. That's why we are here. And we are working with Canada, with US, and our partners in the Pacific Alliance and the Latin America, all the hemisphere, in order to work together. It makes sense. We have several opportunities like never before. So those are our points of view in an overview about them. And thank you again for your attention. Thank you very much.